everyone, and welcome to Lattes on My Mind.
I'm Hannah.
And I'm Felina. What are we talking about today?
We're going to be talking about Blackbeard, a pirate.
Aye, matey, so grab those lattes and join us for the journey.
Aye!
How the heck have you been, Hannah?
I've been good. Except my back. My back has been killing me.
Your back has been killing you.
Yes, it's so bad. I'm like, why am I feeling so old? Well, I am older.
You are 31 now.
I'm 31 now. We talked about that last time.
Yeah, but nobody believes her.
No, nobody believes me.
Everyone...
Huh?
Go ahead.
Oh, no. Most people guess me in the 24, 26 range, which is great.
Which is fantastic.
For me.
You've lost 4 to 6 years.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Not
See,
to 50.
I've always looked older than I am.
I mean, you don't look like old.
I think I look my age
You look
now.
your age.
But when I was growing up,
you look
everybody
like-
thought
yeah.
I was older.
Yeah,
Don't look at my
26.
crusty, dusty toes. I
I-
saw you.
I just-
Stop it!
You have your toes up on the table.
The paws are out. Listen, my leg
I just
was going
saw your
numb.
toe ring, and I
Oh.
don't think I've really seen it that often. Because, well, you do wear sandals a lot. But
I do wear sandals a lot. Stop looking at my toes and making me self-conscious.
Yeah, I can't. They're right in front of me. They're right in my
They're
sight.
staying there, okay? My leg was going numb because it was folded the whole last episode.
I'm trying. I will stare down at my screen.
I saw you looking at him.
I didn't mean to
Listen.
stare at your toes. That's weird. I just saw the ring, and I was like,
It's shiny. She
yeah.
said, ooh, sparkle.
It's about pirates. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Speaking of pirates,
Oh yeah. Let me tell you about one. But first, we're gonna tell you about
I thought
the
you were gonna
golden age of piracy.
I thought you were gonna give me a pop quiz again. I was
Yes,
gonna say,
I am.
got nothing for you.
I do have a question for you.
Oh,
No,
crap
just
on a
kidding, I
cracker.
don't. But I can make up a question if
Crap
you
on a
want.
cracker and give it to Paulie. All right.
Did pirates walk the plank?
No. Yes, if they were on a neighboring boat.
Do you know what walking the plank is?
Yeah, they walked the plank and then they drowned to their death.
Yeah, not real. Not real. Didn't happen.
Oh, I thought
Just so
you
you
meant
know.
like, do they? Okay, listen, I'm just defending myself. What you should have asked was walking the plank actually a thing?
Yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, I just made that up on the fly.
Well, but because I thought you meant did pirates do it, or did they just make like their captors do it,
Yeah.
or the captives do it?
Yeah. No, they didn't. This is what we're going to talk about first. Is like how
Some
pirates.
misconceptions.
Well, I don't have really misconceptions, but yes, that was
I
a
would
misconception.
say walking the plank is a misconception.
Walking the plank is a misconception, but we're going to talk about the golden age of piracy is really what we're going to be talking about. And I might mention some misconceptions,
Sounds like a treasure.
but I didn't get to really go into it, but I do like have some in my memory from reading. I can't stop.
She can't get out of the accent.
Hold on, let's reset here, guys. I don't know if they want to listen to us the whole time talk like that. I think it's funny.
I think that they
but
would get used to it after
They
a
would.
second.
They would adjust. But do you know what time period the golden age of piracy was?
Okay, you know I'm bad with dates.
I know. I just want to see if you have a general guess.
It's like
A big lumpy knob.
no, I'm thinking it's like in like when they wore the wigs and stuff.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. Okay, so it spans from about 1680 to 1720.
Yeah, when they were
Yes,
wearing the wigs.
When they were wearing the big white powdered wigs.
And the big
the big skirts.
yes.
Yes, I know what
See,
you're talking
I got
about.
It right.
We're doing
I just didn't know what year.
what's that
was.
Barbie movie where that lady has the skirt like that? Is it 12 Dancing Princesses? Don't they have those big skirts?
There's several
one of
Barbie
them.
movies with those.
Yes, they have it, but it's like the ones where like that stick out. You know the ones that like stick out this way? That's
yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
But they like not just a hoop skirt, but like the one that has like the
Yeah.
you know what I'm talking about.
It's like shelves. On
Yeah,
your
they're like
hips.
shelves on your hips.
Yeah.
That time period.
We're in
just
there.
in case you were confused.
We're in there.
So pirating was very popular during this period, and we'll talk a little bit maybe about
looking for treasure.
they were looking for treasure. Another misconception.
They were there to wreak havoc and
Yes.
steal your things.
Yes. So I did get to read a few misconceptions, but they're not really in my notes, but I might touch on them. But so widespread in I'm going to say it this way, the Caribbean. I don't say the Caribbean unless you're talking about pirates because it is the Caribbean. How do you say it? I believe it is technically the Caribbean.
The Caribbean, Dominican Republic. That's all I think of. Go watch In the Heights.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
It's.
Oh, that's what you were singing. I thought you meant they said Caribbean in it.
No, well they do.
Right.
I think that I say.
It depends on the context.
I say Caribbean unless I'm talking about pirates. I don't say Pirates of the Caribbean.
Caribbean, yeah.
I say pilots of.
Pilots.
I say Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, right? I know. That's what I'm saying.
But I call it the Caribbean.
The Caribbean. Okay. We're on the same page here then. So, and it was very widespread in the Caribbean and North America. And it was called the Golden Age of Piracy because there were many pirates. Because it also is a time when pirates became sensationalized. Okay, so like everything that we know, just like walking the plank, parrots, peg legs, that sort of thing.
Hooks.
They were all sort of made up, kind of. They were
tales to deter the children from becoming pirates.
Sure. Yeah, we'll say that.
I guarantee it.
But it was really like, I think became such a fascination for them because it was like reported in the newspapers and stuff at the time. Like, this person stole this and this person's in this sea. And I think a lot of them were like fascinated with them because they were like going against the monarchy and things like that. So it was like a very like cool sort of thing. So people were fascinated with it.
They were rebellious.
Now there was this guy named Captain Charles Johnson.
Is he a pirate?
No, he's not a pirate.
Okay, I was like, that is a lame pirate name.
Charles Johnson. Yeah, I think, oh no, Charles Johnson's coming to get me. Like, that's not
Charles Johnson.
He would really have had to come up with a different name.
Yeah.
No, he was not.
He was just a captain.
He was an author. I don't know what kind of captain I think he was military, but he was an author. And he wrote this book in 1724 titled A General History of the Robberies and Murders of the Most Notorious Pirates. And pirates is spelled with a Y. Pirates. Pirates of the most notorious. Some people think he was might have been Daniel Defoe, who wrote Robinson Crusoe. I don't know if you've heard of that, but it's about the guy that's like stranded on an island. Some people think it might be that author and he's writing under a different like pseudonym, but they don't know for sure. Because they don't really know who this guy was. They know he was like an author and he was a journalist, but he was also an author. So he kind of like mixed fact and fiction.
Okay.
And so he wrote this book and it told stories about many of the famous pirates during this era. And I think that's like his depiction of them is like what became popular. So maybe not necessarily some's fact, some's fiction. So it's kind of hard. That's why pirates are so fact and fiction like combined. So because he had like, so he had things that were like accurate, but then he had like conversations between people. And it's like, you weren't there, so you don't know what the conversation was.
Yeah.
So pretty interesting, but he did describe like the physical characteristics of Blackbeard, and that's how we know him today. So we're going to talk about him.
Did he have a
soon.
black beard?
He did indeed. How'd you know?
You're
so good at guessing.
I'm just so good.
Spoilers.
Darn. Sorry, guys.
Yes. So this, along with other things, have... What?
Could you imagine Blackbeard has a red beard?
I hope he does. I really hope like the guy whoever Blackbeard was like, I don't even have a black beard.
I don't even have a black. I'm literally Irish.
Red. Yeah, it's like I'm literally Irish. But so this guy, along with other things that we'll talk about later, really influences like how we think of pirates. Okay, okay. And we think that he maybe, he did get things. He did get facts from like trial records. I think he interviewed some pirates and like newspaper reports. Like he got some stuff from it, but then it's believed that he embellished the stories and made up some fiction of his own because he was like, this is gonna make it a
good story.
Right.
He needed to make it exciting.
Yeah, of course.
So what I'm hearing is pirates were actually boring. And
they were actually boring.
He needed to make them more exciting.
No, they were still interesting. Like they're still interesting, but like they're not like, well, it's just like, I mean, I feel like it's just like anything that we make up. Like I'm trying to think of something that I can think of from history that's not actually like as fascinating as we've made it out to be, but I can't. So if you know any other stories like that, you tell me, because I don't know.
You can reach us at lattespodcast@gmail.com or on Facebook and Instagram on Lattes on My Mind, or on our new website lattespodcast.com, or on any of our posts on Spotify, Amazon, Apple, Audible, and YouTube.
That's right. If you know of any misconceptions in history, let us know. Maybe we'll do an episode about it. You never know. So the golden age of piracy also kind of went hand in hand with the like Caribbean colonial explorations of the English. So, they're going all around North America. They're exploring all that stuff. During the war, there was a war before this. It was called the War of the Spanish Succession.
I've heard of this.
I think it's called that.
Yes, mate. Yep, it is.
During that war...
That was so loud, I'm sorry.
Queen Anne's War, which is important.
I've heard of that too.
You need to think about that. I think it was a war during the War of the Spanish Succession.
Okay.
So keep that in mind because
it was a war within a war.
It's important. A war within a war. So during this time, the British allowed a lot of their captains to be privateers. Do you know about these? They're like essentially legally sanctioned pirates. So they'll intercept like enemy ships and like take their goods and like stuff like that. Like they're allowed to do it, but like because it's war. Okay. So they're like, we're actually gonna have you go and like wreak havoc on these ships because if you interrupt trade.
Well, because if it was the soldiers, it would be an act of war. If it's the pirates, it's the pirates.
It's the pirates, exactly.
Sorry.
So these were called privateers, and they were like, it was their job. So after the war, they're like, well, we kind of got good at this. I mean, that's how, that's not what they said, but like, they're kind of like, well, what do we do now?
I kind of like
this. So yeah, so
you had to keep the stuff too.
Yeah, so a lot of privateers or privateers, however you say it. If you're British, I think you say privateers, and I just like saying it like that. But so they essentially just like kept doing the job afterward, but they were now doing illegal things because it wasn't.
But it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't sanctioned
or whatever. So we'll talk about that more. But first, we'll talk about something else. Pirates. They weren't like this chaotic group necessarily. Like you think of like, they're just like, hey ho, let's drink from the bottle, hey rum, that sort of thing. Like there
were no Captain Jack Sparrow.
Yeah, there was no Captain Jack Sparrow. Like they had like rules and articles, they were called, that they had to sign.
They lived by.
Yes, before you got on the ship, you were supposed to sign this thing. And it seemed like okay, there was like a general like pirates have this kind of code, but then there was like each captain kind of had their own variation of that code. So we're gonna read some, because I like reading the codes. But I like reading laws. I like reading codes. I'm weird. But it's pretty interesting because like they're like, hey, you sign these before you sail, so you know the rules. So there's no really, you don't have an excuse if you don't follow them.
So we can't wreak too much havoc.
Right, because if you disobey, you could be marooned. Do you know what marooning means?
No.
It means when you're left on an island by yourself, essentially. And sometimes I think
I want to be marooned.
Well, sometimes they leave you like with a bottle of rum and like one bullet in your gun.
Oh.
So
not that kind of marooned. Yeah. I just want to be left on an island.
Yeah, they're not like a nice island. It's like a desert island
with some snacks.
If it was like the Bahamas and it's like a nice little beach.
Well, if it's the Caribbean,
right? Exactly. So it's a possibility. But I think
I'm gonna work on my suntan.
I think it's something with like there's some animals. Are there like big animals that can kill you on islands most of the time? Oh, there's tigers, right?
For sure.
And stuff. Yeah.
Well, how did the tiger get to a remote island?
Well, haven't you ever seen the Swiss Family Robinson?
No.
They're like in an island. They're like on an island in Papua New Guinea, and there's a tiger on the island, and it's also a book, but it's like a nerdy book. I had to read it for school.
Have you ever seen that Life of Pi movie where he's stuck on a boat with a tiger?
I actually didn't watch it, but I need to.
You should watch it.
But I mean, if he can get on a boat and be stuck on the boat, why can't he be on the island?
Well, because I'm just saying, if it's a remote island, how did the tiger get there?
Well, they just live there.
How did they?
They're born there. I don't know. Do tigers live on islands?
Well, yeah, certain islands.
Certain islands. That's what I'm saying.
The mainland island.
A mainland island?
Yeah.
What are you talking about, girl?
like there's like the main island. Tigers live there. How did they get to
islands?
the other
What are you
islands?
talking about?
If you know about tiger migration patterns, please weigh in. We're begging you.
At the Bigfoot Festival, they were talking about how like tiger migration, there was something that corresponded like with where the Sasquatch were. Just a random fact.
If you
I don't know
about that. Please weigh in.
Please let us know why tigers and Sasquatch live in the same area.
Are they kin?
Are they kin?
Is they kin?
Is they kin? So we're gonna read a few of this guy who's named Black Bart or Bartholomew Roberts.
Black Bart.
He was
I've heard of Black Bart.
Black Bart, yes. there may be an episode about him because he was a very famous pirate. Apparently one of the most successful pirates. I think he was Welsh, I believe, from what I read.
I'm Welsh.
You're Welsh?
I'm Welsh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Felina is Welsh.
I am Welsh.
From like how long ago?
From Wales.
Well, I know from Wales. From how long ago? Like, did your great grandmother, or was it like great like 1700s Welsh?
I don't.
Like Black Bart. Like, are you Black Bart's descendant?
Probably.
Probably so. I think so.
We're gonna go with that.
You
'cause
look
that
like a
sounds
pirate.
Cool. I'm totally a pirate.
You would.
I got the curly hair.
Yeah, the curly hair, and you could like cut a slit in your eyebrow.
Oh, for sure.
And you would definitely.
I'm totally a pirate.
You definitely look pirate type.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
With the top, with half up knot,
With the toe ring.
and then the.
Stop looking at my toes. If another man robs another.
Okay.
Well, let me read the whole rule because I kind of skipped to the end of it.
Okay.
Every man shall be called fairly in turn by the list on board of prizes. Don't know what that means. But if they defraud the company to the value of even $1, they shall be marooned. If any man robs another, he shall have his nose and ears slit and be put ashore where he shall be sure to encounter hardships.
Cute.
Your nose and your ears slit. Ow. What
Slit
way do you think they're
how?
slitting it? Yeah, I don't know. That's what I'm wondering. Like, probably the nostril here? Or do they do
How?
the bridge? Ooh. Like, what is this thing called? What's the thing in between your nostrils called?
It's the thing that makes your nostrils 2 nostrils instead of 1.
Just nostril.
Your nostril.
Your nostril. I don't know. What is that called? A septum?
Yeah.
Yeah, septum.
Yeah. We're smart.
What if they slit the septum? Like, completely in half? I don't know.
How would they slit? Well, I'm over here. My dumbness is
Thinking here?
like, would
The
you
bridge?
slit it down
Oh,
the bridge
ow,
of the nose?
ow.
That would hurt.
The ear wouldn't be as bad.
No, I mean, my
Because
ears are
your ears are
pierced.
pierced. I mean, it would still hurt. Especially
Your
if they
ear would
slit.
grow back together.
Yeah. Well, it depends how bad they slit it, right?
It's true.
Because like if it's together, if you guys know, that's kidding. Whereas if you know,
if you know the anatomy of a human, like apparently we don't.
yes, he was also a party pooper. The lights,
Not a party pooper.
yes, the lights and candles shall be put out at 8 at night, and if any of the crew desire to drink after that hour, they shall sit upon the open deck without lights. You have to drink in the dark.
In the moonlight. Drinking in the moonlight.
It doesn't sound too bad.
Yeah, sounds relaxing,
Yeah.
actually.
But apparently you need to be quiet.
He said you need
By 8.
need to have a reasonable bedtime so that you have plenty of rest.
Right.
And then you're ready to work on all our pirate stuff.
Right. No boy or woman to be allowed amongst them. If any man shall be found seducing any of the latter sex women, is what it means, and carrying her to sea in disguise, he shall suffer death. There were female pirates disguised as men, but I wonder if it's different if they just get on board as opposed to like a man's like, I'm bringing my lover with us.
If a man brings his lover,
yeah, and disguises
then
her.
that produces a child. And
Yeah.
then,
You don't want no child on
and
your
you don't
pirate
want a
ship.
child on board because
Yeah.
then you have to take care of a child on board. You have to. It's too much hassle.
Yeah,
What if they go overboard?
I
Sucks
don't
to
know.
suck, kid.
it would.
Hope you know how to swim.
It's pretty interesting how they did this. They said, no man shall talk of breaking up their way of living till each has a share of 1,000. I don't know what that means. But then it goes, every man who shall become a cripple or lose a limb in the service shall have 800 pieces of 8 from the common stock and for lesser hurts proportionately. So you get money if you lose limbs and stuff.
Oh, cute.
Yeah.
Cut it off.
Yeah, cut it off. I lost my leg.
Oh, my wrist.
I need, I don't ever remember this. What are pieces of 8? Like, what does it mean to have 800 pieces of 8?
I don't know.
And look up if you can see how much it's worth.
What does it mean? What does it mean? What does it mean?
What?
What does it mean?
I don't know what you're singing.
Sorry.
Are you going to explain? Or are you just going to say the people will know? Like you always do.
What?
You're always like, the people will know.
The people will know.
The people will know.
800 pieces of 8 refers to 800 Spanish silver coins.
Wow. Oh, okay. So 800 silver coins. So that's probably a lot of money.
Yeah.
If you lose, but that's a leg. Lose a limb. So it could be your arm too, right?
What if you lose a toe?
It would be less.
That's a limb.
I know it said it somewhere. I wonder if I can find that. The captain and quartermaster. Here's an interesting thing too about pirates is that they do elect their captain. So they can choose who's going to be over them. So the captain kind of wants to be like very fair and equal to his crew. And it says the captain and quartermaster. So everyone is assigned like how much they're going to get when they like rob a ship. Okay. So it's like the captain and quartermaster shall each receive 2 shares of a prize. The master gunner and boatswain, I think is how you say it.
You got me.
1 1/2 shares. All other officers 1 1/4. And private gentlemen of fortune 1 share each. Whatever that means. And then his last rule was the musicians shall have rest on the Sabbath day. What? Who are the musicians?
They're bards.
They're bards? They just bring musicians with them?
Yeah, you gotta have music if you're gonna be raiding boats.
And they didn't want them to like gamble and stuff. So I'm like, it's not like as like you kind of have to behave.
No, you're doing it to make money.
Yeah.
I mean, that's your livelihood.
Yeah, it's literally why.
Away.
Yeah, it's literally why pirates became pirates. Is literally for money.
Yeah.
It wasn't just to like kill and stuff. It was to get money.
To gain riches.
So I know I said some of them, but like if you didn't listen, if you disobeyed, because you knew what you were getting into when you got on a pirate ship, some of the punishments could be, we already talked about marooning, but you could be thrown overboard. You could receive 39 lashes. You could just be plain shot. So
like in the head or like
just
shot?
I think like killed.
Okay.
Because it was like execution by being shot.
Okay.
So I think it's in the head. There was no walking the plank. This was really inspired by Peter Pan. So J.M. Barrie's novel obviously has Captain Hook in it and his pirates.
Walk the plank.
Yeah. So this didn't like ever really happen. Like you were thrown overboard. Like they would throw you in the water, but they would just be like, bye, and throw you. So nothing like that. Nothing so sensational.
Bye.
Pirates, however, if they got caught there, their killing was not fun. Like the way that they were put to death by
the government.
They were usually hung at a place called Execution Dock, which is on the River Thames, if you know, in London. Thames.
The River Thames.
It looks like Thames. I always thought it was Thames when I was growing up reading it. It was Thames. Very
Cute.
dirty river. Not so great.
Not cute.
No.
Not demure.
Not cute to Demore. Demore?
Not demure.
Where instead of a typical hanging that we think of, like when you get hung and you snap your neck and you die, right? Okay. They use a short rope for them. Okay. So you would literally strangle for 45 minutes while alive.
Yeah.
Not fun.
Is that how long it takes?
Huh?
Is that how long it takes?
I think it's just like you could be up to 45. Well, because they like literally like you didn't break your neck, so you were just suffocating. So it was like, sorry, like my nose is like running.
But it takes only.
I think it could be up to 45.
It takes 45 minutes without snapping your neck to lose oxygen.
I would think it would be faster.
Me too.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant that's it.
That's what I'm saying. That's how long it takes. It takes 45 minutes.
Probably in the way, like, I mean, it depends probably how tight the noose was.
It's true.
If they did it kind of loose, because it was short. Well, yeah, but it was like a short rope, so you weren't like it didn't force you to like. Because usually the reason why they died, I think, is because it snapped your neck and you would dead.
Right.
But if it's just for suffocation and you're just hanging from a rope, I don't know. How long does it take? I mean, that's what it said. It could be up to 45 minutes.
That's wild to me.
Yeah. I mean, it could strangle the person up to 45 minutes. I'm sure lots of them
died before 45 minutes.
But suffocation is like cannot be a fun. I'm sure there's no fun way to die. Let's just say that right off the bat. I mean, if you die in your sleep, you don't know, I guess.
Yeah. You just fall asleep.
That's how I'd want to go. Just sleep. But I do feel like that's one of the very painful ways to die. Suffocation. Yeah. I can't imagine. Anyway, one of the reasons why the pirate age ended, which we're gonna be talking about a pirate, so we're not done yet, but the golden age of pirates. I mean, there's still pirates, and there still were before this, but this was like when they were very rampant. Was that they were making trade very difficult. You know?
Yeah, they
you
were
couldn't get
stealing
your goods.
Everything.
You couldn't get your goods from one place to the other. You were quite frustrated.
I mean, think about it this way. You could promise something and be like, I'm sorry, our ship was ransacked.
Yeah.
We've lost communication. We sent you your goods and then never have sent the goods.
We drank all. The coffee's gone. It was stolen. You really drank it all, but you're just like, it was
Hannah would be a pirate just to steal coffee.
I'd be like, I want your coffee.
Do we think that the coffee was good back then, though?
Yes. Well, it depends where it was from, but I mean, kind of like the Caribbean and South America, quite delicious coffee. But I don't know about them. I don't really know. They were really big tea drinkers then.
Yeah.
So I think they were transporting tea and rum.
Crumpets.
Tea, crumpets.
It was
So,
actually probably
I actually
making the
did-
crumpets, but yeah.
I was reading something about Blackbeard, the guy, and it was like he actually didn't like. He was like, "Do pirates drink so much rum?" And he's like, "Blackbeard actually preferred a cup of tea at the end of his day." I said, "Okay,
My man.
He's just a pirate, like just drinking tea."
He's just like,
yeah, delish.
his fine china.
After beheading the thousands. So Blackbeard, let's talk about him. I just wanted to give you a little. This is his lifetime, the golden age of piracy. So that was kind of the setting for him. Now we're foggy on his background. That's the thing. We're so foggy on the background of this man who is so
well known.
Because when you think of pirate, I mean, like you think of Blackbeard, right? Like you knew who Blackbeard was.
I actually think of Jack Sparrow, but yeah.
Well, Jack Sparrow is fictional.
I'm sorry.
I think of Jack Sparrow, but I think of Blackbeard. Like if you're just gonna say, "Oh, name a famous pirate," Blackbeard. Like that's just what like comes to my mind.
I would name Jack Sparrow.
Okay, but a historical. What if someone said to you, Felina? Name a historical pirate. Who would you say?
Well, then yeah, I'd probably say Blackbeard.
Okay. Oh, here's the thing, folks. I would just like to say real quick. Felina
ahead.
makes fun of me for my childhood movies.
Listen, Blackbeard's ghost.
One of the articles I was reading mentioned Blackbeard's ghost at the end, and I said, "Oh my gosh. I have shown Felina like the trailer for Blackbeard's ghost.
It's something.
If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, it is like a live action Disney movie.
It's
made in the
interesting.
60s.
Yeah.
You haven't watched the whole thing. You can
tell.
I also read somewhere that apparently Treasure Island, the old, like, have you seen the old Disney live action Treasure Island at all?
How old is it?
It's older than this one, so it's like
live action. No,
yes,
I've only seen the cartoon.
It's super old. I read somewhere that it was like the first Disney live action. No, is that right? Disney live action movie?
I have no idea.
I think I read. Maybe we'll have to look it up.
Yeah, no,
But
I've only ever seen the.
you need to. Oh my gosh.
She's gonna show it to everybody.
Well,
She's gonna post it on the Instagram.
I'm gonna post it on the. If you have not seen Treasure Island, live action.
The live action.
Disney.
Are they not making another live action?
Well, Treasure Island has been made in so many 1950 film.
Okay, so no, I've not seen that.
Why are you watching things from the 1950s, Felina?
Why are you watching things from the 1950s?
Because it was safe for us children.
I beg
Ask
to
my
differ.
parents. It was good. You know, Treasure Island is a book written by. It was good. Okay. June 22nd, 1950.
Okay.
Anyway, I was trying to see if it was Legacy.
If it was the first live action.
Okay. No. I got it wrong.
Oh no.
I was thinking of this part. It says Newton's portrayal of Long John Silver is often regarded as a major influence on the portrayal of a pirate in subsequent years. So like this influenced like how we think of pirates.
Okay.
This depiction. Was it the first live action though? What was the first? It wasn't the first live action.
We're gonna find it out.
It wasn't because they made 30s.
They made 30s.
They made 30s.
They made 30s, she says.
They made live action movies in the 30s.
Did they? Are we sure?
I thought so.
Well, yeah, I guess animation wasn't really a thing in the 30s, was it? Yeah. So they would have to have made.
Oh, the first entirely live action feature film produced by Walt Disney Productions was Treasure Island, released in 1950. Okay, so I was.
So she was correct.
I was correct. Not the first live action movie ever, just Disney. What was the first Treasure Island? Okay, yes. You got to watch it.
You got to go.
Classic.
Go watch it. Or you can watch the cartoon.
Yeah. One of my personal favorites is Treasure Planet. Have you seen Treasure Planet?
Yeah.
Love Treasure Planet. So good. Anyway, because that's a variation of Treasure Island. Anyway, I'm going to go on because we need to talk about Blackbeard.
We're going to carry on. We're going to get into the topic.
It is thought that he was possibly born in Bristol, England.
Bristol.
Possibly his birthplace, and they think about 1680. So he was born
he
like
was
right
born
along.
in the Golden Age.
Yes, he was literally like born right along with the Golden Age.
Okay.
One study proposed that maybe he was related to this family that lived in Jamaica, and the reason why they thought this was because they think even his real name, like what his real name was.
Bartholomew?
No, this is a different pirate.
Oh.
We'll talk. Maybe I want to do kind of one on Bartholomew, but Bartholomew was like one of the most like successful pirates.
I thought Blackbeard was Bartholomew.
Nope.
No, that's Bart.
That's Bart. Black Bart.
Okay, what's his real name?
His real name is Edward Teach or Edward Thatch. One of these. or one said Thatch Drummond, which is really weird.
It's literally Teach.
They think, yes, it's literally Edward Teach or Thatch. They think that even this name was like a fake name. That like, they think that maybe he was like hiding something from his past, so he went by Edward Thatch or Teach.
So he was Jamaican, then he moved to...
Yeah, because there's a family of Thatches, spelled like that lived in Jamaica. Okay?
Okay.
But some say he could be from New England, like America, New England.
What?
Mostly when you look it up, it says Bristol, England. Okay. So I think he's English. So we're going to go with
Or
that.
Jamaican disguising himself as English.
The thing is, they don't have like hard proof of where he was born. That's why there's like this. And another thing that they think is like people spelled things phonetically back then. So they think that's why there's so many variations of his name, because they would just write it like you hear Teach or Thatch or whatever. So they just write whatever they heard. So they think that that's why there's so many variations. He is, of course, one of the more well-known pirates to date. Influencing authors such as J.M. Barrie and Robert Louis Stevenson, who we've talked about. J.M. Barrie is Peter Pan. Robert Louis Stevenson wrote Treasure Island. Captain Hook, apparently, in Peter Pan, like the original book, is referenced to have been Blackbeard's like bosun, which I think is the guy who like mans the guns. That could be wrong.
Oh, okay.
That could be wrong. I don't know.
Mans the bows.
Mans the bows. What is a...
What's a bosun?
Yeah, look up. It's spelled like boatswain.
Keep going.
And then Israel Hands, who was actually a member of Blackbeard's actual real historical crew, is the name of a character in Treasure Island. His name is Israel Hands.
Oh,
yeah.
that's
So he like
cool.
literally put him in the book. Did you
find it? It
says
it's a ship's officer in charge of equipment and the crew. So it's like the right-hand man.
Yeah, okay, the right-hand man. Yeah. So apparently Captain Hook in Peter Pan was like Blackbeard's
right-hand man.
Right-hand man.
We actually have a hook.
Which I don't know if you've ever seen Pan. It's like this really weird movie that came out a few years ago.
No, I didn't ever watch it.
Okay. Because Blackbeard's in that, and it's Hugh Jackman. And he looks the ugliest you've ever seen Hugh Jackman. But one of my favorite actors who no one knows about, Garrett Hedlund, is Hook in that. And he is fine. And you can tell.
Fine. And now I need to
Wes
see.
can hear that. Look up
Wesley
Garrett
knows.
Hedlund as Captain Hook.
Garrett
Hedlund.
That's awkward.
Well, yeah. I know. But Garrett Hedlund, Captain Hook.
Oh, I know this guy. Yeah, he is fine.
He is fine.
He is fine.
I know
what
this
else
guy.
is he in?
He's in Tron. He's in...
Yeah.
Have you seen Triple Frontier on Netflix?
Yeah.
Have you seen that movie? He's in that too.
I'm looking at his stuff.
Yeah.
Right now.
He doesn't do as much big stuff. He likes kind of more independent
He's in like random things.
Yeah. I like him a lot, and he is very random.
He's in Tulsa King.
Yeah.
He's in The Tutor. He's in Troy. That's random.
Oh, yeah. He was young in that, I think. Quite young. But anyway, he is. He's fine.
He's fine?
Wes always talks about it. He's like, oh, it's either Garrett Hedlund or Tom Hiddleston. And I'm like, yes, this is true. Correct. Or Jensen Ackles.
Let's be real.
Let's be real
here.
So
for real.
Ooh, a pirate movie with all three
Jensen
of them.
Ackles as a pirate.
Also, Tom Hiddleston was Captain Hook in one of the Tinkerbell movies.
Well, now Jensen just needs to be Captain Hook.
Of course, he wasn't actually like it was an animated film.
So,
but
it counts.
Jensen Ackles as Captain Hook in some movie,
or just as a pirate.
Arg, arg, matey. He'd be like, arg,
arg. Where's the rum?
Sam, give me the rum.
Sam, give me the rum.
I'm all for it. Like, it could be.
Why didn't they do a supernatural pirate episode?
They do have one with the ghost ship. Do you remember that?
But like they're not like
it's not like pirates. Yeah, they need to be dressed as pirates.
Pirates.
Me and Felina just get really distracted by that. But apparently, Blackbeard also appears in Pirates of the Caribbean. I just did it. I said I don't say it that way, and I said it.
Sorry.
Pirates of the Caribbean. I think it's like the Strange Tides one.
I don't know. It's
apparently Blackbeard's in that one.
So long.
And he's also in Assassin's Creed 4 and more. He's in lots of modern stuff. And Blackbeard's Ghost.
He's referenced a lot.
Plug that again.
Plug that one.
You need to go watch it. Dean Jones.
This is just a random resurgence of Blackbeard's
1968, guys. Please watch. And it's really weird that he's so famous because his pirating career, if that's what you want to call it, it really only was like...
Really kind of sucked.
It was only like 15 months or maybe 2 years.
What the heck?
Yes, okay? From 1716 to 1718. Yes! And Black Bart was like 20 years. It's like his is so much longer. So we're going to talk about him at some point because I like pirates. So we'll probably do a few pirate episodes.
Didn't we just do a pirate episode too?
No.
It was like women. We did. Not
I
too long
talked
ago.
about
that one girl, and she became a
Yeah.
pirate, and she had like so many kids.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so many husbands, and
She was a medieval pirate. It was like
yeah.
she was like
So she was a pirate before
very
pirates
very
were hip.
yeah. She was a pirate before pirates were hip.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was. You were right. What was her name?
I don't. Jane? Nora? No.
Jean. Yeah, you're right.
Jean.
It was Jane. Jean.
Jane and
It was
Jean.
Jean.
I only remember that because if I ever have a child and it's a girl, it's going to be named Nora Jane. So it's one of my names. Yeah.
After the pirate. Good choice.
Not after the pirate.
Yes, now it is.
Whatever.
Auntie Hannah say you're named after a
You're
pirate.
named after a pirate. Let me tell you about her.
Let me tell you about her. So his piracy, obviously West Indies, Caribbean, blah blah blah. You know that. Obviously he was nicknamed Blackbeard because he had, as you guessed, a lengthy black beard, which was often tied into braids by dark ribbons or black ribbons.
Oh, I just imagine some pink little ribbons.
I know. I wanted to point that out because I knew you would think it was pink ribbons. I knew you'd be like, yeah, little pink
Some
ribbons.
polka dot ribbons.
Yeah, some little pink, yeah, like little like
lacy.
they're like glitter ribbons.
Yeah.
I just it is weird fancy. Yeah, no, he
Ooh,
would.
you know what would have been so cool?
What?
It's black lace.
Yo, Blackbeard,
Oh, that would have
listen
been
up.
super cool. Blackbeard,
Yeah,
homie.
I mean, they were black ribbons. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Not the same, but it would be really cool. He also like lit these like slow burning fuses and put them under the brim of his hat. Some I read the beard. He put them in the beard, but I think that's dangerous. I think he put them under the hat, but it would like put smoke around his face so that he would like look all like menacing when he went onto people's ships.
He said, it's my special effects.
It's my special. It's my little smoke machine.
Why is this fog machine broken?
Right. So it's supposed to scare
Yeah.
the people when he
Right.
boarded enemy ships.
Natural.
He wore like 3 sets of pistols across his chest, so it was like 6 in total.
cute.
And he had various blades, cutlasses,
Some broad shoulders
yes,
from that
yeah.
man.
I mean, he must have been pretty big, but he had like I was like 6. And then he had like several cutlasses and weapons and things like that. Now Johnson describes his appearance as imagination cannot form an idea of a fury from hell to look more frightful. Now Johnson's the guy that wrote all the fanciful.
That made it.
Yes.
He exaggerated.
Yes.
Yes.
And I think I remember hearing that like when we went to a pirate museum many, many years ago. It was the Maritime Museum. I think in near where either Chesapeake or like back in Virginia.
Virginia,
like the Outer Banks.
yeah.
So like the Outer Banks and stuff like that and North Carolina and Virginia are like very like popular for where pirates like sailed in those times.
Cool.
Because they're some of the early colonies too.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
I guess.
There's a maritime museum there that I think has some Blackbeard stuff, and we'll talk about it because he does something in North Carolina and Virginia. So, anyway, we'll get there. But I really just got distracted. I don't know why I said that. What was I talking about?
I don't know.
Johnson
I got distracted
also
with you.
Johnson also thinks that Blackbeard had previously been a privateer during Queen Anne's War,
Oh.
and that's
okay.
why he kind of just I'm gonna do this for the rest of my life, I guess.
Oh, so he died in pirates.
He died in pirates. He died in piracy. Yes, he did. We'll talk about it.
The piracy killed him.
Now, it is Johnson painted Blackbeard in such a way that they don't think that this was really accurate because Johnson was like he had 14 wives.
Maybe he just had a lot of long-term
Maybe he had-
girlfriends
maybe.
that were like all at the same time.
Yeah, there was only one. I mean, I'm sure like when you go to ports, that's probably when they did the carousing, one might
Yes.
say.
You canoodled.
And I'm sure he had many different women. But he's only documented as having one wife. And it was odd because it was this girl from North Carolina. He was wed to. She was like 16.
Oh, gross.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
So, yes. And she lived on...
Mr. Beard, sir.
Yes, Mr.
That's
Beard.
gross.
Mr. Beard. Not so great. Once again, probably common during this time, but nonetheless gross. I don't know how old that would put him. At least 30s, right?
Well, he was born in what, 18?
No, he was born in 1680, they guess. So even if he was pirating, and he wasn't pirating until like 1713, I think. So even then he was...
Old.
33 and she was like 16, something like that.
old.
He was old. Gross. So his mentor guy was named Captain Benjamin Hornigold. Hornigold. You want to talk about a fun
Hornigold.
pirate name? Captain Benjamin Hornigold.
Horn of gold.
Hornigold.
I'm not
Maybe
gonna
it's horny
say,
gold, but
I'm
we're
not
not
going to say it. Hannah said it.
I did say it is with an I. I hope it's not that. So this guy had been pirating from 1713. So he's pretty experienced. So he takes Blackbeard as a captain under him about 1716.
Okay. Hornigold.
Hornigold does, yeah. So he's like his mentor, okay? But he makes him a captain of another ship. But he's like, you're captain of this ship. I'm captain of both ships. That sort of thing. You know what I mean? Like he's the head honcho.
You're the captain of the ship, but technically in charge
of that
of
ship
you.
of those guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he's helping him ransack some Spanish shipwrecks that were probably like, you know, wrecked because of hurricanes and stuff. So at first they're kind of just like,
And they're just like, what can we get into this?
what can we get out of this? Yeah. But then they moved on to actually pirating cargo ships. Okay. They said, this is a little bit nicer. We get some, you know.
We got some.
The goods aren't
some
ruined.
Crumpets.
Yeah, we got some crumpets, some fresh stuff, all that.
Yeah.
Felina just thinks they were pirating crumpets the whole time. She's like, have you ever had a crumpet?
They have to
my
eat.
gosh.
They have to eat.
I had a friend. I have a friend. She's still my friend. But we went to her sister's house on our way to England, and this sister is not English, but she made like real English crumpets, and they're like a mixture between like an English muffin and a biscuit, and you put like raspberry jam and like cream cheese ish stuff on it. It was delicious. So I would understand if they're out there pirating those
I
crumpets.
said, give me some of that crumpets.
Give me those crumpets.
I'm feeling quite famished. Let me eat a snack before I throw you off overboard.
Right. So Blackbeard gets his famous ship or flagship. As you remember, a flagship is the main ship in someone's fleet.
Correct.
In 1717, from a merchant slave ship, slave ship from the French.
Gross.
Yeah, not great. There was lots of slavery going on at this time. It was originally titled La Concorde.
Okay.
La Concorde. But when he took it, he decided to rename it Queen Anne's Revenge. Queen Anne's Revenge. Now that's important.
Because it was the War of
Queen
Anne.
Anne. Yeah, exactly. So he put 40 guns on it. So 40 cannons he had on the ship, which is apparently a significant number.
That's a lot of cannons.
Yes. 20 on each side.
That's a big ship.
20 on each side. Yeah, I think it was 3-masted.
Yeah, I know what that means.
3 masts. So, you know, sails.
Oh,
so
the
like
poles.
down the, yes. So 3 of those masts.
Poles.
3 of the poles.
Okay.
What I used to be, I think it's another.
It's her tism.
I wasn't going to say it,
Careful,
Elena.
your tism is showing.
I was obsessed with like ships when I was younger, pirate ships and things like that. And like, I don't know if you ever saw Tintin, but he's talking about the ship and he's like triple masted, double decked. Like, that was me. I was very obsessed.
Double decked.
Yeah, like 2 decks. So there's like a deck.
Here's my question: how can you have 2 decks?
Well, like one's like a deck underneath the deck, but it's
so there's levels.
Yeah, like
so
levels, certain like levels.
It's got 2 floors.
So it's not just like a deck and a hold like of things underneath, but like
so it's got 3 floors.
Yeah, it's like a 3-floored ship. Yeah,
3-floored ship.
3-floored ship.
Cute.
Yeah, very cute. Do you know that there's something called a poop deck on a boat?
Is that where you go to do your?
That's what you go to
do?
No, it's like the poop deck. I think is like where the captain stands. I think it's like where the like, what is that thing called?
The spoke.
Well, the spokes on the helm. The helm.
Yeah.
That thing. I think that's where it is, or it might be the other deck. It's one of the decks. It's a poop deck. Fascinating. Perhaps I should do one on ships and just let you just ships.
She's gonna be doing that one alone.
This one's called. Yeah, it's just me and Felina's like sleeping. So when he took over the ship, they dropped off like the crew and the rest of the slaves like onto an island, and then went like looked over the ship, tried to find like all the goods, and apparently one of the cabin boys said, "Hey, they have some gold dust on them." The cabin boy just betrays the crew, tells them about the little gold dust. So they take the gold dust, and then they're like,
maybe he's thinking if I tell them this, they'll let me live.
He did. Yeah, he went with them. So he teamed up with Blackbeard, and some others as well. But then they were like, "Hey, you guys that we want, we're gonna force you to join our crew." It was 2 sailors, 2 carpenters, 3 surgeons. And a cook.
You need a surgeon.
Did we mention the cook?
to cook the crumpets.
You need the cook to cook the crumpets.
The crumpets.
And the surgeons, because
they say these crumpets are the most delectable crumpets I've had in all my years. Yeah. You're coming with me.
Because if you're on a ship and you lose a leg, I mean, you're getting gangrene, right?
Yeah,
Like
for sure.
For sure. In that time period. Now, Blackbeard's flag, which I forgot to look up for you, his flag was a variation of the Jolly Roger, we shall say.
Yeah.
It was a skeleton with horns, and it was grasping an hourglass, and it had a spear that was supposed to be like stabbing a heart, like that was bleeding. And it represented like your time was running out. You're about to be killed. Yeah, it's this one.
That's kind of a lame flag.
It kind of is, Blackbeard. I don't really love it. I like Arabella Drummond's flag, and I kind of want to talk about Arabella Drummond, but she's not in this episode, so we're not going to talk about her.
She's not in her.
But she has a cool flag.
Well, you just made her in here.
Yes, I did. She was a female pirate, and I'm sure there's lots of fiction about her as well.
Probably.
But I thought her flag was cool. If I remember, it was like, did you look her up?
Arabella what?
Drummond. Drummond. Arabella Drummond. Unless I've been lied to my whole life and she's not even real.
I'm not seeing anything come up.
A flag?
Maybe.
We had a pirate book when I was growing up.
That had a pirate book.
That had the different flags in it.
Yeah, there's all kinds of flags right here, but her flag specifically, it ain't coming.
What?
No.
Pirate. Well, who's this woman?
She's dressed as Arabella Drummond.
Did you see her? She was like a pop.
Her.
This should be her. This should be her flag. It's like got the two cutlasses and like the little earring.
So like a pirate flag would look like.
Yeah, but it's like the profile has like an earring.
It's the profile of a skull.
This is the book.
She found her book.
This is the book we had. I think it was Leanna's, but it had like different types of pirates, and it had like this little pouch like lifted up, and it like talked about Arabella Drummond.
It's the profile of a skull with the two.
See, it opens up.
Swords. That's cute.
And
very cute.
Maps unfold. This is like, it is literally called Piratology. I'm gonna have to get it again.
I know what she's getting for Christmas.
Anyways,
Wesley.
Yeah, give me that Piratology book, Wesley. It meant like your time is running out. That's why I was holding an hourglass, because you about to die. You about to be killed. Okay. He did a lot of pirating in 1 year when he had this ship. Okay. Now remember,
the 1 year he had it.
Yeah, he got his flagship and he had it for 1 year. He had about like 300 men.
Oh gosh.
Or more in his crew. That's a lot.
That's
okay?
a lot of people to follow you.
Yes. And it was interesting because his crew was an amalgamation of different like people and backgrounds. And like one time, like half his crew were black men. And there were, I hope that they were part of his crew, because I know that there were like lots of slave ships going to and from places at that time, but I think they were actually part of his crew.
Maybe they like took over a slave ship and were like,
I hope so.
Join us, yo.
Oh no, no, not like that. No, I hope that they took over his ship is what I was saying. That would be cool. That would be a cool story, a vengeance story.
The slave ship?
Yeah, like the slaves took over his ship.
I hope that it was like they saw a slave ship,
took it over and helped them.
Took it over and were like, hey, you can go be free or you can come join us. I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be kind of cool. Yeah, that would be cool. I did not mean that it would be cool that they took over the slave ship, that they set free the slaves.
Yes.
That'd be cool. But they were pirates. So I don't know if they were necessarily good people, but I also don't think they were as bad.
Well, I don't think that pirates would have a reason to enslave a ship.
Yeah, they would. I really don't think they would.
Like the whole ship.
Well, here's the thing is with this one, I think that they just gave them smaller ships and let them go still like do their slave trade. And I was like, oh, come on. Like, stop them.
That's dumb.
Like, don't do that. Don't give them ships. Maroon them. And then take the slaves with you.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm trying to tell a pirate to do a good thing, but you know.
Actually, Hannah's a diabolical pirate.
Yes, I am. I'm actually a good pirate. You just don't know about it. It's my weekend pastime.
This is why we didn't record on the weekend.
Right.
She needed to go pirate.
I was pirating.
Do pirate things.
What would your pirate name be?
Oh gosh, I don't know.
I know.
What would your pirate name be?
I don't know. I really never thought about this seriously.
I haven't either. We'll have to take a quiz.
Oh, yeah. We'll look it up.
Or you can let us know what you think our pirate names would be.
I could be like... I feel like there's a H... Hannah of the High Seas.
Hannah the Hannibal.
Hannibal.
That's
Hannibal. Just Hannibal.
Yeah.
Literally. Yes. So anyway, also he had like... I was saying, there were also former privateers on his ship.
Correct.
There were also rich people and there were also poor people. So there was just like lots of different people. I read that there were some gentleman pirates, like literally rich people like pirating. And I was like, why are you doing that? Why would you?
To give back to the cause.
Maybe they were like Robin Hoods of the sea.
They were like rebellious.
Exactly.
They were like My parents want me to be a
Gentlemen
lawyer,
pirates.
but I don't want to wear those ugly wigs, so I'm going to
I
come
just want to
pirate
be a
with
pirate when I grow up. One of his more daring exploits was he created a blockade in Charleston, South Carolina. So he like blocked off the port. This is in May 1718. He would anyone that came through, he was like, you're captive. And it went on about like a week long. And so essentially the reason he did this was to get a ransom from like, I guess the governor or whoever was there, for a chest of medicine, of expensive medicine.
Oh, someone was sick.
Yeah. So it's thought that maybe he had been getting the medicine to like treat or like the syphilis on board, which you don't want syphilis, but I think that was a common disease at that time.
Yeah.
I don't really know what it causes. I'm assuming it's not fun times. What are like the symptoms of syphilis?
What are the symptoms of syphilis?
Do we want to know?
Do we?
I don't know. It's not good times, but I find it interesting that he was literally like holding people hostage just to get medicine. But at that time, you didn't have access to just like medication at all.
It's a painless sore. It's like canker sore at the site of the infection, often on your privates.
Oh, they said we need some medicine.
Swollen lymph nodes. It usually heals within a few weeks, even without treatment.
Well, then why are you so desperate?
You can also have a skin rash. You can have fever, fatigue, sore throat, headache, muscle aches, and swollen lymph nodes.
Oh, wow.
Or you can have no symptoms.
It could have been something else, though. Yeah. It could have been a different disease. They said syphilis, but what about scurvy? Isn't that like a common? Scurvy.
Scurvy's a pirate illness, for sure.
It is. Historically, also, I don't think it's just one of those, No,
like it was.
I think they actually did get scurvy.
It was a very common thing for pirates.
All right, let's talk about his demise.
Oh, boy.
North Carolina, 1718. Oh. Beaufort Inlet.
A year after he got his boat.
Yeah, really, literally.
A year of pirating.
Yes. Well, yes, pretty much.
On his own.
Right. Like I don't know how long he was a privateer before.
You said 1713 with the one guy.
The guy had been pirating since 1713, but I'm not sure if Blackbeard was with him the whole time.
Oh.
But I think he was at least since 1716, right? Yeah. But even still, that's 2 years, so it's not long. But even still, we'll say he's 1713. If he was, that's still only 5 years,
that's
right?
Still only 5 years of pirating.
For a man who is very famous. Theories suggest that in 1718, Blackbeard's ship was run aground into a sandbar in Beaufort Inlet.
Don't you hate it when that happens?
I just hate when a sandbar arrives and I say, oops.
I said, darn, I didn't see it.
Theory suggested that he did it on purpose because his crew had gotten so big that he wanted to separate from the rest of his crew, take the most loyal men, and sneak away with some of the more nice treasures rather than giving it to his crew. Now, whether this was done on purpose or not, up for debate, but he did leave some pirates marooned and abandoned and headed off with a smaller group and his treasure. Like, that actually happened, but they don't know if he actually did it on purpose.
Or if, he just forgot to
if them. He was like,
Maybe they weren't waking up and he was like, you have 10 minutes to get your butt on this ship. And then they didn't get on the ship, so.
Right. Now, Blackbeard also had the opportunity because, all the little governors on the American seaboard or whatever were trying to get rid of piracy. They did not like it, okay? So they said, if you give up your ways, we'll give you a pardon. If you promise fealty to the crown or loyalty, we'll forgive your past crimes, essentially. Okay. Your previous crimes, it's fine.
Cool.
You will pardon them.
They said, we just need you to stop. But you need to stop.
And he said, so Blackbeard said, okay, I'll do this. So he got pardoned by this guy named Charles Eden, who was the governor of North Carolina, which apparently he must have gained a rapport with because he still seems to be on good terms with this governor later on. Okay. Now, this is also, I think, the time period where he got married, which means he was not married long at all.
So it's because he was pardoned by North Carolina. He just kind of settled in North Carolina.
Yeah, kind of. He was pardoned there. He had a wife there. However, his hiatus, how do you say that word? His hiatus from pirating did not even last a year. He was like, I'm going back.
Oh.
So yeah, he was like, I'm just gonna go right back. So the interesting thing is he still seems to be on good terms with this governor while he's pirating. And he also did not live far from the governor when he lived in North Carolina. He was down the street from him or something. Okay. So it's thought that people in charge who lived on the Eastern American the Eastern American West Coast, the Eastern American colonies on this eastern side of the ocean, whatever, the Atlantic, possibly kept letting the pirating continue because they were getting goods from the pirates that were less expensive than the stuff that they were getting from the trading ships.
Right. They were like, hey, you can only pirate from these things because we want you to come back and trade.
We kind of want you to. So, like, he seems to have not been bothered by this governor. So I'm assuming he was kind of just like, hey, Blackbeard, just, down low, under the table. Give me some crumpets, that'd be great. Yeah, crumpets. And it's kind of funny that you say that because some of the things that he was, like, using to, like, bribe/bargain with the people was sugar. Because that wasn't just a thing to get. Yeah, for the crumpets. It was like, yeah, and like when he went and after he got the pardon, he went and like raided these places and got like cocoa and sugar. Mm-hmm. So like everyone, or cacao, or however you say the actual one.
Whatever, yeah. Is it the actual fruit or is it a powdered form?
Oh, I don't know at that time. It was probably the fruit at the time. Yeah. It was probably the fruit. I don't know. Were they grinding up into like chocolate powder then? Well, yeah, but like I would assume they'd ship it as the fruit or the like pod or whatever it is.
Me too.
So people wanted this, okay? Now, Virginia governor, however, Alexander Spotswood was his name. He got real tired of Blackbeard. He wasn't a fan of the pirates. Now, he wanted to rid the colonies of pirates, okay? So he put out £100, pounds, as in British currency.
Like, yes. Like money.
Yes, reward for the pirate.
That's it.
Well, supposedly, most pirate captains were only 40 pounds. So he's getting 60 more pounds out for Blackbeard. So that's a pretty big deal, I would assume.
That's somebody who he personally pissed off.
Yeah, 100%. Like the Virginia governor. I mean, probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Personally pissed him off. And then because he had such a high poundage.
Yeah.
Because
high poundage.
Because he had such a high poundage, that's why he got popular.
Right. 100%. So he employed pirate hunters, and especially a man named Robert Maynard, who was a Navy First Lieutenant, a Royal Navy First Lieutenant.
Oh, wow.
He gave him 60 men and 2 sloops. These are little ships without guns, I believe.
Well, you set him up for failure.
Yes, exactly. But no, he's not. Because guess what? This guy apparently must be good. Because he decides, hey, Blackbeard is in what is called Ocracoke Inlet in North Carolina.
Ocracoke
Inlet. And I've heard of this place because I believe I have maybe been to Ocracoke.
Oh.
Or I know of this place.
Cute. You're just following Blackbeard's path.
I really am. I was, anything pirating we would go look at, I guess. I don't know. I don't actually know if I've been there, Mom. Let me know. I remember the Maritime Museum and I was trying to figure out which one it was. I think it's the one in Chesapeake, Virginia. But anyway, we went to it and it was really fun.
Yeah.
Very nerdy. But he decides, hey, let's trap them in this inlet because that's like a little thing that goes out from the ocean, right? And like it's surrounded by land. So they block them off and they decide to attack them in the morning. So his ships, Maynard's, appear to be caught on a sandbar. Apparently this is just like a theme.
Okay.
So Blackbeard,
common occurrence.
Right, a common occurrence in these little shallow inlets. So Blackbeard fired at them with his cannings.
With his cannons.
His cannons.
Yeah.
With the cannons, with the guns. And he kills quite a bit of his crew. So he's like, cool, chill, I've got them. And he kills like 20 of them. And there's like 60 of them.
Yeah.
But apparently Maynard, the captain, and his crew, the rest of them, or he's a lieutenant, excuse me, they were waiting below deck in the ship, okay? And they're like, we're waiting. So Blackbeard and his men hop on over to the ship because they're like, we shot them. It's good. They're probably really, done for. So a battle on board ensues. So they're like, their little flintlock guns or whatever it is they have at the time, and their swords, okay?
Shing, shing,
shing, shing, shing, shing, shing, shing, shing, shing, shing, shing.
Yeah.
That's the battle that happened. So Blackbeard literally gets cut 20 times by cutlasses.
Oh, gross.
And 5 bullet wounds.
Wow.
And he's, I guess, still fighting.
Like I said, big guy. Or I
don't know. Something's wrong with him. Maybe
he was one of those people who like couldn't feel pain.
Yes, I was just about to say that. Like a Novocaine. I don't know if you've seen that, but did you watch it?
Yeah.
It's cute, right?
Yeah, it is.
It's gross, but it's cute.
It's gross but cute.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you just had to see it.
Marshall and I actually both stayed up for it. Like
I enjoyed it.
We put it on. I was like, you're just gonna fall asleep.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to rewatch it. but surprisingly, we both stayed up for it.
It made us laugh. Like it's violent,
funny.
but it's funny.
Yeah.
It's just it's good. I like it.
Marshall was like, I liked whenever he had like the arrow when the guy was trying to torture him, and he was wiggling the arrow, and he was like, "What's wrong with this guy?"
Ow! He's just like acting like
don't do that.
That would be crazy. You can't feel pain.
Yeah.
Maybe he was one of those. That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Let us know, Blackbeard. Just kidding.
Yeah, if your ghost could come visit us.
If your ghost, Blackbeard's ghost, yes. Yeah. If your ghost could pop on by and let us know. But it was either one of his men or him. I think it was one of the men, Highlander. So I think a Scottish man.
Oh, nice.
Beheads Blackbeard.
Oh, not
okay.
Nice.
No, not nice.
Sorry.
And then Maynard, however you say it, hangs the head from the front of his ship. Okay, and throws the body into the water. Now, apparently, they then took this head of Blackbeard's and takes it into Chesapeake Bay, Virginia, or Hampton Roads area. So all around where I used to visit. Puts it on display on a stake.
That's
just
so
like
medieval.
And like keeps it there for like years or something. I'm like,
so
how?
Medieval.
That is very medieval of them. So the date of his death is November 22nd, 1718. Very sad, very sad. So think about it. He only pirated like literally from 1716 to 1718.
Yeah, that's such a slow run.
It is, for real. So apparently 12 of his crew were killed during the fight. And then like the rest were put in trial in Williamsburg, Virginia. At least 13 were sentenced to hanging. But supposedly Israel Hands, his like right hand man, no pun intended, went free because he apparently shared some information during trial about the corruption of the NC, North Carolina bureaucrats. So like the governors there. So Charles Eden and all those people. He was like, hey, they're like
they knew this was happening and they let it continue.
Yeah. So they gave him a pardon apparently. But I think everyone.
Dang.
There might have been one other guy. I don't know who. I think it might have just been a crew member that was let go. But most of them were killed. But then him and like another guy were pardoned.
It was the chef that he brought for the crumpets.
Yeah.
He was like, I literally just made crumpets, Mike.
I'll tell you about the governors and he'll make crumpets.
Yeah. I literally just made crumpets. I know nothing.
Right. Are we good? Can we go?
Yeah.
I've been turned into a cow. Can I go home?
Yeah. What?
Oh my gosh. I always forget. Marshall would know. Emperor's New Groove.
Oh.
It's the Emperor's New Groove quote. Marshall and I are obsessed with that movie.
Yeah, so is Marshall.
Sorry, I keep like hitting the mic.
Hey, it's okay.
It's okay, guys.
Every time I hit the mic, you can't hear it when I edit it.
Know.
So
it's like, it's fine.
I haven't even marked them because I'm like, they're not going to hear
it. It's fine. Anyways, the Queen Anne's Revenge, which was his original flagship, was believed to be discovered in 1996. So...
Oh, we found it.
Over 200 years. It's pretty... I looked it up because at first they were like, they think this is the ship, but they're not like 100% sure. But it was like in that inlet that he like grounded it in.
Yeah.
And there's about like 400,000 artifacts they've recovered with a large number. Like they found like a large number of cannons. So that was like one of the clues.
One of the clues.
This could be it. Like everything seemed dated from that
plus
time
the
period.
Location.
Yeah, and it's the location. So they're pretty sure. I think they've confirmed now it's Blackbeard's ship, but when it was like first coming out, they were like, we're still not sure.
Yeah. Obviously,
but
you gotta fact check.
Yeah, it's pretty cool that they can find something like that. I think that's another reason why it became like such a big thing was because they like found his ship.
Yeah.
And you don't just find like very many probably famous pirate ships. I mean, I don't know. Do we have Black Bart's, whoever he is, his ship? But another rumor.
I was yawning. That's my bad. I don't know. Not because I'm bored, but because I've worked.
We are bored. It's been an hour.
No, it's because I don't. Well, I feel like it's hard to find ships like that anyways because it's all wood.
Yeah, you think it would all be,
so
but like the anchor and the cannons.
Up. Yeah.
I mean, I wonder how long wood can last
underwater.
Well, because they are like, they're probably like coated in tar and stuff. Some of it, so some of the wood's probably still there.
Right.
I don't know how long I can preserve it because that's over 200 years. Yeah, 1996 because it was 1718, so that's more than 200 years. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That they found it. Yeah, maybe they didn't really find the ship. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe it's just all the stuff from it. But anyway, another rumor about him is that when they took his head down from the stake, they took the skull and turned it into like a drinking vessel. They like lined it with silver or something and made it into, and like they used it at like one of the places in Chesapeake Bay.
That's disgusting.
I'm like, that's disgusting. Don't do that. But for someone who's so well known, he really only like took 23 ships, not pirate ships, 23 ships over in his short career, whereas the pirate Blackbeard Roberts, as we talked about, captured 400 ships.
Well, but he had 20 years to do that.
Well, I don't know if it was 20 years. That's just the number that I thought. I don't know how long he pirated, but still, like, why do we talk about Blackbeard all the time, like being the craziest?
Maybe Blackbeard, maybe 23 for a year and a half to 2 years is like a crazy amount of
maybe
ships.
it is. But even still, if you take in 20 years, if he was for 400 ships, that's more still.
Maybe.
Right? How many?
I don't know. I don't math.
Years.
You know this.
Was.
She knows I don't.
I do
math.
Yeah, I do. A pirate in jail. Who is that? Also, oh, I have lied.
She's lied horribly. She's lied horribly. She's in shock.
3 years. He did 400 ships in 3 years. He was only a pirate for 3 years.
Yeah. Why are we talking about Blackbeard?
What? We're gonna have to talk about. You know that Blackbeard's going to be one of my topics.
He's like the lamest one, I feel like. Now.
I know.
Now I feel like he's just lame.
I was so excited to do a Blackbeard episode because I literally thought he was like a crazy pirate. But they really think that, like, literally the only goods that he left behind in North Carolina were like cotton, cocoa, and sugar. Only worth a few thousand pounds.
He wanted chocolate crumpets.
Yeah. But the reason why we think, like, I think that he became probably so big too is because Johnson, this guy, he wrote all these stories about him. Like, he did one where he like marooned some of his crew on an island and he like only gave them the bottle of rum and he was like, you fight out among yourselves. And then he returned in a month and they were all alive.
So that's what they were doing in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, they're like, we're going to maroon you. Yeah. So then also apparently Johnson said that like one time Blackbeard shot Israel Hands in the knee when they were playing a card game. But there's really no evidence that he was like this evil guy. Like, he wasn't like especially harsh to like the people he captured either.
The guy just needed a good story.
Yeah, so I think that he like made him sound really bad.
Yeah.
For no reason. And that's why I just don't know why. Like, I did the research and then I was like, but why did he become so famous when we have like Black Bart? Who, like, I know I haven't covered fully, but I'm like,
that's a lot.
He took 400 ships
in 3 years.
In 3 years.
In a year more than Blackbeard.
Yeah, who took 23? That's looking piddly compared to.
You clearly weren't doing a good job.
Yeah. So that's Blackbeard, and I was kind of like, what the heck?
If you're just as shocked as we are about how lame Blackbeard is.
Yeah, hopefully the episode isn't too lame, but like.
No, I think the episode's intriguing, but if you're as in shock that he was kind of not that great of a pirate.
Like, the most interesting thing was that like was the way he died, which is like, or like that he like got the chest of medicine.
Yeah.
But that's literally what that was like his craziest like exploit was when he like blockaded Charleston for medicine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's a pirate.
Yeah. If you have a better pirate for us,
yeah,
if you have more information on Blackbeard, we would love to hear it. You can reach out to us at lattespodcast@gmail.com or on Facebook and Instagram under Lattes on My Mind or on our website, lattespodcast.com, or you can comment on any of our posts on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Audible, or YouTube.
Yeah.
We would love to hear from you. Please. We also wanted to let you guys know that this will be our last episode for about a month.
Yeah, we're going to take a little summer break.
We need a little summer vacay.
Yeah, we've both been very busy, and so we just need a little break, and then we're gonna like kind of figure out what
we're coming back the 30 something.
Yeah, the 31st or something.
There's only 30
something like that. So we're just like gonna take a little break and then kind of figure out what our next topics are gonna be, and we want to do them justice.
Kind of plan ahead. Yeah, I have a topic that I've pushed off multiple times because I just haven't had the time to do the research for it, and I don't want to. I want to give you the best episode you can get from it. So.
Yeah, and we know that some of you are behind, so this will give you a chance to catch up a little bit, and then we'll be back.
Yeah. So, but we still want to hear from you. If you have suggestions for podcast episodes while we're on an off season, even if it's not like for like around the time, even if it's like, oh, this would be great for spooky season.
Right.
Or like this would be great in the wintertime. Let us know and we will plan accordingly.
Yeah. But if you want to find Blackbeard more interesting, just go watch Blackbeard's Ghost.
And then let us know your movie review.
Yeah. I know they're going to give it like a 1 star. But you got to think, guys, it was made in the 60s. It's pretty funny. Funny.
If you say so.